What's golden, y'all? It's Brian. So, after 10 years running a marketing agency, including 1 month where I made $42,000, I'm shutting most of it down. Not because I failed, but because I'm tired. And this is how victory defeated me. I'm a marketing consultant. I help small businesses figure out how to get paid with small audiences on social media. Because making content is a different game if you're trying to drive business. All right. So I'm taking ruthless inventory of myself and ruthless inventory of my platforms and my activities online. And I have this reflection. My biggest month, my biggest single contract, I landed a $42,000 gig off of a couple of conversations. When I got it, man, I was super excited. I was excited to the point where I was going to bring my wife on and we're going to work on this thing together. And we're sitting there visualizing what this is going to look like and how we're going to grow and how this is going to change our lives and everything. And it almost broke my agency to the point where within maybe I want to say 2 or 3 months, I am like, I don't want to even run a marketing agency anymore. So I'm betting on myself in a big way, and I'm trying to turn this YouTube channel into my main business. Stick around. I'm going to tell you why I walked away from a lot of my client work and what I'm building now and how that might help you stop running a business that runs you. Glasses on, glasses off. Like I said, I'm about full transparency with this thing. I've been fully transparent over the last couple of years about having ADHD and struggling with imposter syndrome and trying to pull the curtain back on this business ownership thing because I think a lot of YouTube gives you a lot of hype and fluff and BS. And so I'm trying to give you all that real. Hopefully, if you are in the game, in the marketing game, or even considering looking at a marketing agency, or you're just a business owner looking at doing your own marketing, this could benefit you. I have my stand store, which you're going to find in the comments. And I also have a tool that helps business owners figure out what social media platform they need to be posting on and gives them an action plan. All these things are going to be, you're going to find all of those in the description. So go check that out. And if you want to work with me, I'm still taking one-on-one clients. Cool, cool. All right. So as I said, I'm a marketing strategist. I'm a marketing strategist and I'm a creative problem solver. And that's kind of been my creativity's been kind of the bane of my existence my entire life. I figure ways to make it work for me. And one of the ways that I made it work for me landed me this $42,000 gig. I got creative with my pitch and it worked. I was absolutely terrified when I looked at the number of how much I was asking for in one shot, but I just closed my eyes and threw that pass and it connected. And instantly, I went from marketing consultant to full blown marketing agency and doing agency work. What I was doing essentially was fractional CMO work, which is basically being a marketing department for a small nonprofit. Okay. And so pretty soon I realized that I thought I was a marketing expert, but I realized I was an expert in creating checklists. I was an expert. I was cold at creating checklists, y'all. I was amazing at creating checklists to the point where I could actually put complete this checklist on my checklist. Anyway, so here's the thing. I really want to give you a small autopsy of what happened here because I didn't have good boundaries when I set this thing up. I was coming in and my goal is always to deliver maximum value off the jump. And so me delivering maximum value basically turned into me having an inability to say no. So initially, it went from us managing all the social media accounts, doing email marketing, coordinating advertising campaigns, and all the other stuff. And it ballooned into us creating and doing the graphic work on the annual report, us being pulled in to do the planning for the big annual fundraiser, us being pulled into designing business cards. pretty soon we were so busy with all the new tasks. Like I had to bring my wife in to help me out. We were having a hard time doing our core functions. And what happened was I envisioned we land this big ticket client and we scale it. And what happened is this one client ended up becoming an 8 hour a day job. And we didn't have any energy or any bandwidth to do anything else. And it wasn't their fault. It was my fault for not saying no or we need to outsource this because I was so hell bent on over delivering the value that I was willing to do literally anything. I was here to do anything. And my ADHD desire for novelty absolutely played a role into it because they would present something to me and I didn't know how to do it. My brain's like, hey, that sounds fun. Let's try it. I'm like, yeah, let's go ahead and do it. And then my wife is 4 hours deep into generating this annual report with all the graphics and all this other stuff. And I'm doing all of these other things that didn't quite align with what we were in there to do. On top of doing all the social media stuff, writing newsletters, writing emails, and all the other stuff. At the time, I had been in the marketing business probably about 8 years. This was my single biggest client. And I started thinking, is this really what I want to do? Because it's only going to get tougher from here. And I never got out of that. Like, that's something that's haunted me, like to the point where I was actively sabotaging myself and avoiding taking on new clients just because that situation ended up being really traumatic because it almost burned two people out at the same time, me and my wife. Okay. So I'm going back to my outline because I kind of got off of it. And I need my glasses for this. I've worked with small businesses, I've worked with nonprofits, I've worked with startups, you name it. I've done campaigns, I've created graphics for campaigns, I've shot videos, I've written the copy. I even built other people's personal brands from scratch. All right. I've done all of it. But I realized something. I'm doing something for everybody else. The hardest thing is marketing yourself. When you're used to applying your brain power to other people's businesses, it is very hard to apply that brain power to yours because you feel like it should be automatic. You feel like you shouldn't have to be working as hard. You set up the client acquisition system that works, that absolutely works like gangbusters for this business, but you can't set it up for yourself. That's the game. Okay. Here's the truth. My creative streak could power a small city. I at any given time have like 4 different projects I'm working on. Right now, I'm writing a series of short stories. I'm recording content for an entertainment channel, which is doing really well actively. And I'm building courses for my school community for this. Okay. I have a lot on my plate. I've just finished writing a book. I have a lot going on here. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that if I do not engage or have some kind of creative outlet, I will sink into depression. That's just how my brain works. It has to kind of tickle the creative part of my brain. And it's great to have that high creative drive until you run an agency because agency is a lot of repetitive work. I realize that I work off of templates. I create templates that get the job done for me, and all they need is minimum tweaking, and I can just rip, deploy, rip, deploy, rip, deploy. But that kind of work is kind of soul crushing for me. And it's not why I got into marketing. It's not why I got into the creative side of things. I didn't want to live that life. And running a marketing agency, I was doing more of that template kind of work than I was doing creative work. The other side is running an agency is a high churn business. Any marketing agency will tell you the ones that say it's not are either they are selling CRMs. I think Go High Level is the one that's in vogue right now. They're selling that, which have a level of stickiness in businesses. And so they're either selling that kind of stuff where the business really doesn't have a choice. If they leave, it's going to be a big pain in the ass for them, or they're lying to you. Running a marketing agency is dealing with constant churn because here's what happens. You create great outcome for a client. Client looks internally and says, "Who can we hire to deliver the same results?" They hire person. That person doesn't have the bag that you have or doesn't have all the skills you have, but you've already built the marketing system for them. All they got to do is sit in the captain's chair and drive it. And now you're out of a job and you're back to it. And even understanding how churn works and even understanding, even when clients were like, man, you've done great, but we need to pivot or whatever. Because more times than not, when a company decides it's going to start cutting back, a lot of small businesses, the first thing they cut back is the marketing budget. Just the real. And dealing with that, like it felt like a small death every single time I churned a client. And they were happy with their results. But it was like the fundamentals of this changed. We hired somebody internally. It just felt like a dagger in the heart. And I couldn't keep beating myself up for that. That's what happens when you run a marketing agency. Basically, you are trying to get the business to the point where they can replace you. And even long term marketing gigs, it happens where there's a change in leadership. Leadership doesn't have the same relationship with you. And next thing you know, you're out the door. And so they call it rejection sensitive dysphoria. Every single time a client leaves, they say, Brian, you are amazing. And it feels like I'm getting stabbed in the gut. It is an unpleasant feeling. After a while, I realized I'm not running a business. I am actually running a traumatic loop for myself. Like I'm running a trauma factory for me that's custom built and custom designed for me. I am doing soul crushing template based work where my creativity is kind of stifled. Because here's the thing, a system that works doesn't require a lot of creativity or ingenuity to make it run. It just runs. If you put it together right, it will run. The creativity comes in when something snafus the system and you got to think on the fly. But always having to change directions and stuff, that means that you don't have a great system running. Okay. And so I'm kind of stifled in the creative side of things. But then I'm also miserable because I'm constantly trying to avoid the rejection of the churn. And so I'm running a trauma factory for myself. That's what it was. So yeah, I'm deciding to hop off of that hamster wheel before I'm back in therapy. Okay. So when I landed at $42,000 a month, it was the biggest triumph but also the canary in the coal mine within a couple of months for me. Because I'm like, is this a thing that I want to scale a business that I'm starting to hate? And I had to sit back and think about it. No, what do I enjoy? I love working directly with business owners and showing them how they can win with their own marketing. I love sitting down and showing you how you can have success without breaking the budget, without learning a bunch of new skills. And if you want to learn the new skills, I love being able to teach that stuff. And so that's what I want to do. I want to teach people all the things I know so that they can apply it to their businesses. Okay. And even sometimes provide soft reframes. Like I had a client that I sat down with and they were suffering kind of with ADHD like I was. And I introduced them to the idea of circumstantial speech and how that works with ADHD brains. And that transformed their perspective on work and life and everything else. For those that don't know, circumstantial speech is something that affects neurodivergent brains, specifically ADHD brains, but it can impact people who are just neurodivergent. And what that means is you speak in tangents, you over explain, you try to squeeze as much into every single conversation so that you are not misunderstood. And what happens is conversation with you is this super dense trail that's hard to follow. And so I struggle with that in my day-to-day life. And I had to explain to them, hey, you're not broken. You just need to find a communication style that works for you and communicates the points you need to the people that you work with. Okay. I love that kind of stuff. I love the feeling it gives me helping people. And so that's what this channel is about. I want to help people. I'm driven to want to teach people what I know. I've learned that people don't always value free information. I've had it where I've told X business owner to do this thing for free. They don't do it. They go and pay somebody who tells them the exact same thing. They do it and have success. So that's why there's costs attached to it. Otherwise, I'll be doing this for free. Okay. So I did pivot, and I'm shifting gears into the teaching frame. I have a school community I want you guys to participate in. It's $97 to get started. For the first 10 members, that's the founders kind of thing. It has a class in there that's going to teach you the basics of shooting good video. But then it's going to scale up because I'm going to have different types of content creation, because content creation isn't just video. Newsletters are content creation. Carousels are content creation with photos on Instagram. Short form and long form are two different types of content creation. Blog posts are content creation. And so I'm going to create, eventually, I'm in the process of recording classes that teach people different aspects of how to create content for a business so they can find the one that works for them. Okay. And so this channel is kind of a rebrand. I'm giving you a glimpse behind the curtain in my rebuild. I already did the video that says I only have 59 subscribers, I believe at the time. Can I monetize this channel without having to go through the ads program? Because I've done it for other business owners. I've done it where they monetize micro audiences on LinkedIn, sometimes YouTube, Facebook, and stuff like that. And so I'm applying it myself. Can I, one, grow the channel, and two, create, I think my goal was $12,000 a month, generate $12,000 a month with a micro YouTube channel with a small following. That's one. Two, I'm doing an autopsy of a lot of stuff on my channel. I did a video like basically saying my thumbnails suck and the process I'm going through to get better at thumbnails. So this channel is kind of, you're seeing me in the laboratory doing everything. While I'm transparent about it, I'm not going to sit here and bullshit you and pretend like I'm not reading off some of my stuff off of a outline or script that I prepared. I'm reading some of it. I'm glancing back at the camera. Like, I don't really do the pretension thing too well. And maybe that's what's holding me back. And if that's what's holding me back, we're going to find out together. So yes, autopsies on my own content. Thumbnails that flop, titles that didn't work, intros that lost viewers in the first 10 seconds. So you get a chance to see all of this with me. And maybe you can apply it to whatever you're working on, whether you're working on a channel. Here's the thing. I'm hoping that you want to work with me. I hope you want to get into the content to client, content to cash machine school community. I'm hoping that you want to book me one-on-one so we can sit down and talk about your social media footprint, your presence. Like, I want to do that. I'm trying to do business with you, but I'm also trying to provide content that helps you. So if you ever built something that didn't fit your brain, you know how exhausting it is to keep forcing it. So this next season is about designing a business that matches how I think. The ADHD creative that kind of flies by the seat of his pants, that doesn't like bullshitting people and is compelled to help people. That's what I'm trying to create. So if this aligns with you, give me a like, follow this channel. If not, I guess I'll see you around YouTube, or maybe not. I do appreciate y'all's time. I appreciate y'all tuning in. All the stuff is in the description if you're interested. I will talk to y'all later. Peace.